We're Hassani and Danielle Pettiford, and we're a real couple with real problems who almost called it quits.
I was very frustrated. I became very disconnected, very jaded and cold.
We have 4 children, going on 20 years of marriage, and we practice what we preach.
Our mission, to change the way couples relate to one another and teach them the skills needed to improve the quality of their relationships.
This is the Couples Academy Show.
Well, welcome. Good morning, everyone. My name is Hassani.
I'm Danielle.
And this is the Couples Academy Show, and we're so glad that you are with us this morning.
So glad.
So glad. And I'm glad that you're with me.
Thank you.
You weren't here yesterday.
I missed you yesterday.
I get nervous. I start biting my nails and I don't know what to do when you're not here.
That's very flattering.
Listen, guys, we're glad you're here. We want you to tune in. Let us know exactly where you're from. Danielle will address that in a second. But we are in a series that we're excited about. We're talking about why I cheated. It is a 4-part series. 4-part series. Yesterday we were in part 1, today we're in part 2, and now what we want to do is go deeper into the conversation so that we can impact this in an incredible way.
Absolutely.
And you'll talk to the people.
Well, I just want to invite you to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. That way you will not miss an episode. And don't forget, tell people that you listen to the show every morning and that it is transforming your marriage. We get lots of texts, emails, letters and cards where you all say that, wow, if it wasn't for you guys, we don't know if we would make it through. So we want you to spread the word on that. And when you come on, just make sure you let us know where you're watching from.
And another quick announcement, we mentioned this yesterday, but we're excited to talk about it again, the Audacity of Marriage. The conference is coming up. It's coming up. It's coming up. Make sure that you register. Get ready for it. Listen, let me show you this quick video of our last one in April, and then we will go deeper into the conversation.
Yes.
That's right. It was an amazing time. And guess what? You can be the next couple to do it. And now, as we mentioned yesterday, if you're a member of the Moving Forward program, it is absolutely free because it's included in your membership. If you're not a member, understand that membership has its privileges. We've been talking about the power of the Moving Forward program and how community can help save and restore your relationship.
Absolutely. You guys don't want to miss this conference. We always like to turn it up every time. Did you see the good time that everybody was having in that video? Did you see the look on the men's faces after their wives smothered them with kisses? Where we're only getting started. We're going to turn it up this time with this retreat. So don't miss it, guys. Click that link. Did you drop a link for the people?
The link is in the description. Okay. So click the link, find out more about it, and register today. All right, guys, we're jumping into this series. We have a lot to unpack for you. Now, as we were talking about on yesterday, there is a chemical rush that takes place in our bodies. We call them hormones, and we also have trans chemicals, if you will. So whether we're talking about testosterone or estrogen or all the things that are happening in our brain that are sending chemicals or actually sending signals to the rest of our body, it creates this in-love feeling, this infatuation, this attraction, and oftentimes you have it for your spouse in the beginning of a relationship, but we know that withers and wanes. And the language of attraction that we have with our spouses soon becomes the language of seduction when all of a sudden we have these feelings for someone outside of our relationship because the connection that we once had in the relationship is no longer there.
So is that chemical concoction that you just talked about what we usually say are the endorphins, those feel-good chemicals that
Absolutely.
give you the euphoria? And is that the energy that when you touched in the beginning, it was so sensational just to touch the hand? It was like a whole ridiculous thing. It was like, what is wrong with me, right? And now, once that fades away, we are in jeopardy if we don't have certain boundaries in place of having that experience with somebody else.
Yeah, because the thing is, it's an emotional high. I mean, think about any drug. When you take a drug, whether it's, I don't know, people who do drugs, right?
There's a high. Oh, you mean real drugs?
Real drugs.
Cocaine.
There's a high.
Heroin.
You are stupid. Lord have mercy. Anyway, when you take a drug, there's a natural high, but then you come down from that high, and you're always searching for that same hit and that same fix. So you got to do more to get that same feeling.
Ever really feel? You know, we don't do drugs. I don't do drugs. Okay, so let's bring it down to the level of people that don't do drugs. Think about when you went to that restaurant and you had whatever you ate and it was so good, it was so delicious, and you could not wait to get back to that restaurant. But when you went back to the restaurant and you ordered the same dish, it was not the same.
It was not the same.
Do you remember the pizza joint in Florida when we went away for vacation?
My gosh.
We were acting
Destined.
crazy over
It was
this
incredible.
pizza. But you only can experience that high one time, and maybe God made it that way because you think about how we experience that high with our spouse, and it is high, and it carries you through a lot of things. It carries you so far to the point where you get together, right? And I think what ends up happening is that we want to hold on to that high, and we haven't learned how to transition into the other feelings. And so since we can't find that high with our spouse, now outside it's a little bit more interesting.
And keep in mind, like, we do believe in the importance of meeting emotional needs, speaking each other's love language to make sure that you remain as high as you can. But it's never the feeling you quite had in the very beginning. And if you're searching for that and holding on to that, then you're going to be disappointed because at some point that fades, it transitions. And if you're addicted to the high, addicted to the in love feeling, addicted to new, it will cause you to venture out. And this is why so many people say, this marriage is dead, it's over. I don't have that. I love you, but I'm not in love with you, because they're confused about what love truly is. Now, we talked about this before on yesterday, and I'm going to go out of place. The allure of new, right? You're addicted to the new feeling. And a person who you meet for the first time, they're new, right? They have their own quirks, they have their own idiosyncrasies, but you don't see it all because we have a tendency of putting our best foot forward. But then the truth comes out slowly but surely after time. So you're drawn and captured by this new thing, and you're looking at your situation like this is the old thing, and you're addicted to new, right? And that leads to the affair. And that's what causes the problem for a lot of people in relationships.
Yeah, because whoever told you what to do about that? A lot of these experiences, nobody warned you for. Nobody ever sat you down and said, hey, listen, young buck, it's going to get to the point where that in-love feeling that you're feeling right now, that euphoria, that nobody can tell you that this is not going to be perfect your entire life, that's going to go away. And then that's when the challenges are going to come into play. Nobody tells you that. So these emotions kind of catch us off guard, and we don't know what to do about them. And to Hassani's point, which I think was key that you said, they don't understand what love really is. And so they think, oh, I'm falling out of love with you because I don't feel it anymore, because that euphoric feeling is gone, and you start to feel this attraction and fall for somebody else, not understanding that you're moving through natural phases in your relationship. And so if you understood those natural phases, now you have a sort of like a guard, a support, because you have an understanding, and you won't necessarily trip into the wrong situation.
There it is. And that takes us to the next point, because you just used the word attraction. We kind of talked about this on the tail end of the show yesterday, but we want to go a little bit deeper. Having an affair makes you feel attractive. So listen, you know how many spouses cannot form their lips to compliment their spouse
so
and say anything like, babe, today when I came down to the bathroom, I said, wow, all right, you doing that thing, right? Yeah. And you want to switch it up, right? You don't want to be robotic and mechanical. Baby, you look beautiful today.
But you know what? If that's all you got right now, give it. Because that's an excuse a lot of people use. Like, well, I didn't feel it, so it wasn't natural. Please, okay? You don't have to feel it to tell somebody that they look nice today, and it shouldn't be somebody else telling your spouse. But sometimes we're waiting on the words of our spouse to say something, and it never happens.
Ever.
You never get that compliment. You never get that acknowledgement. They never look up. And we were talking about this yesterday, because in marketing, right? Why do you think it is that every time you see a Burger King commercial, it's a new commercial? Because after a while, this is scientifically proven, after a while, you literally stop seeing the ad if you keep seeing the same ad over and over again. It becomes invisible to you. It has no effect on you. And that's why marketing constantly changes. They tweak it a little bit. There's a new song. There's a new burger with a new angle. They're showing you this cheese dripping. They're showing you onions stacked here. They do that because it keeps your attention. It keeps you awake. It keeps you alert, right? in reality, when I get up every day and I'm just seeing you every day, not that it's just seeing you, but do you know what I'm saying? It's the same person over and over again. It becomes monotonous, and we sometimes take it for granted and stop complimenting. But we're gonna get on it.
But how do you fix that? I want to know how to fix that. All right, so if I think you're attractive,
I'm about to tell you, but we gotta wait. We gotta break.
Lord, guys, be right back. This is the Couples Academy show. It's getting good. Couples Academy is expanding its team to meet the growing demand of people in need of help around the world. So if you're a trained, licensed, or certified expert in marriage enrichment, infidelity recovery, sex therapy, life coaching, cognitive behavioral therapy, divorce mediation, financial coaching, or family therapy, contact us today.
Welcome back, guys. You're watching the Couples Academy show, and I just want to acknowledge my people. JG, Brandon, JD Pruitt, Kia, Kessie, Debbie, Churchill, Dee again, Gorgeous, Rick Bennett, Ralph, Wanda, Ladidra. These names are catching me, y'all. Rochelle and Janita. Torre.
From LA, from Oklahoma, from Uganda, from Dubai.
Yeah, we got them coming from all over the place,
Boom.
guys. Thank you for watching. Make sure that you continue to share, like, and subscribe, okay? But, guys, let's get back to this conversation about how things become dull. Okay. How we stop seeing each other. You had asked before the break, well, what do you do about that?
Yeah, what do you do about that?
How do you change that? Well, what is the advertising companies doing? What do they do about it? Now, if y'all don't know, I have a marketing background, so I have been in marketing since, the beginning, okay? I started out at Ogilvy Public Relations back in 2000. And what we learned is that you have to keep your advertisements fresh. You change them consistently to keep people's attention. And we always talk about having a new marriage, renewing our marriage. We have a new theme every year. And so it's about trying to keep it hot and trying to keep it fresh. I don't want to see Hassani in the same t-shirt and shorts that he's been wearing since high school just because he might still be able to fit it.
High school.
So it's about keeping it fresh. So one thing Hassani did, he thinks I didn't know this, but I did, is that he went and he changed up his cologne. Because guess what happens when you are wearing the same cologne every day for the last 10 years? Do you know what happens?
You don't smell it anymore?
You don't smell it anymore. Let me prove it to you. Have you ever stuck a plug-in in the wall? Those plug-in things like the air wicks? And at first it's smelling so good and you smell all the time. True. And then the next day it's as if you don't even have anything on. Right. And then somebody comes in your house and they're like, oh my God, it smells so good in here. And you're like, oh, well, I don't even smell it anymore. You stop smelling it. So we have to change things to keep it fresh and to keep it hot.
So true. And that really goes to the next point of why you find so many individuals who are cheating. Familiarity, right? It's the same old. It's just like, to your point, I'm just used to you. It's just familiar.
Yes.
And what happens is when you've been around somebody for a long time, all of a sudden now you're having to deal with their habits, their annoying, frustrating habits that just get on your nerves. And so the attraction and the excitement was just blown up because there goes that annoying habit again. And now you become frustrated and annoyed, and it's the little things. It's like the tiny little pebbles, not the huge boulders that really can take away the passion you have, but those tiny little consistent things that just like, here we go.
Or you become predictable. And for some people, I mean, predictability and routine is good for some and it's very bad for others. Some people do not like routine and do not like predictability. And so if I already know, okay, every morning you're going to get up out the bed the same exact way. You're going to go brush your teeth. You're going to go put these on. You're going to sit down like this. You're going to go have your coffee. You're going to go for a walk. Like, it's so predictable. It becomes boring. It's the same old, same old. You say this all the time when we go to retreats and we're talking about intimacy and different things of that nature. Old shoe. It becomes old shoe. You know, it's like, I don't want to have to be stuck wearing the same old black shoes all the time. Most of us ladies have hundreds of shoes in our closet. We have 30 pairs of black, and then we have all the different colors, right? We don't want the same old, same old. We want to mix it up. And so that's what we need to combat. Because this whole idea of, okay, these are the reasons why somebody's being unfaithful, that's the point of the show, right? This is what happens. But on the flip side of that, there are things that we can do to combat this, right? Once we have awareness. Sometimes people are doing things completely unconscious. They're not really clear on the fact that the reason why I've done this is because I was bored and I was tired of the same old, same old. I did nothing about it. It's bringing awareness so that you can begin to do things about it.
Yeah, and so in terms of boredom, here's another piece, guys, in terms of familiarity. See, now that we're married and we're living in a house together, now it's a focus on duties and responsibilities. So now we're paying bills together, we're washing dishes, we're doing laundry, we're fixing things around the house, we're taking care of the kids, we're dealing with mail and paying bills. And because you're in this duty type of responsibility type connection with your partner, the passion is gone. At the end of the night, you're just exhausted. You done did this, you done served everybody, you're spent. You're doing things for your spouse, you're doing things for your kids, then you have your work, and then at the end of the night, the last thing you're thinking about, unfortunately for a lot of people, is connecting with your partner. And so a lot of times people cheat because they're using cheating as an escape from their normal. See, monogamy oftentimes leads to monotony. They're trying to escape the monotonous. They're trying to escape the duty. They're trying to have fun. They're trying to have excitement. And for me to connect with someone who I don't have to make major life decisions with, I can just be free. I tap into that youthful, playful, childish part of myself because I'm carefree. I don't have to think about nothing. There's an allure. There's an attraction in that. And that's what some people are searching for. So it's not necessarily I'm searching for her or searching for him. I'm searching for a different side of myself, which I haven't experienced in quite some time.
Very good point. Somebody, let me go to LaShonda. She says, good morning. Just because it's the same old, or a spouse became bored, that's no excuse to cheat. Why not just respectfully leave the relationship? And I want to, one up that and say, why not work on the relationship, right? When we become bored, we don't need to immediately assume it's time to leave. We need to actually get busy working on the relationship. And to your point, Hassani, that's why we call it the 80-20 rule, what you were explaining. Because you're only experiencing 20% of the reality of that relationship when you're stepping out with somebody, and all you have to do is share the playful, fun, lighthearted side of yourself, the one that doesn't have any cares or responsibilities, the one that can stay out all night and all day, the one that is, that doesn't have history with you, that binds you to certain responsibilities, right? The 80% is everything else. That's where you really live. And this is why people enjoy the benefits of a marriage or having a wife and husband, but want to step out and have fun in relationship with someone else because they haven't learned to master the 20% that's broken within their marriage.
Now listen, that was a powerful answer. We have one more part of this that we want to cover today before the end of the show, but what we're going to do is take a quick break, come back to it because we want to unpack it in an incredible way. One of the questions that came yesterday, we decided that we were going to address it in a comprehensive way. So listen, you're watching the Couples Academy show. We will be right back in just a second. All right, guys, we're back. You're watching the Couples Academy show. We are in a 4-part series on why I cheated. That's what we're talking about. Today is day 2, and we want to take a comprehensive approach and take our time with this because there's so much to unpack. Listen, a question came yesterday that we want to address, and here it is. Brandon Snake says, does mental illness and cheating go hand in hand at times? And I thought that was an amazing question. And the answer is absolutely yes. Now, there are many mental disorders, right? But we want to focus on 2 in particular that I want us to take the time to break down. Now, many of you have heard of narcissism, right? Narcissistic personality disorder. And generally speaking, from the research, it is more associated with a man. Now, we know that there are women who do have that, but it's more associated with men. However, there's also something else called, borderline personality disorder, which is more associated with a woman. And so I want to take the time to kind of walk through this so that we could talk about the attributes and qualities of it and how it leads to an affair. So here we see fear of abandonment. When somebody is struggling with abandonment in their relationship, they feel like, you know what, I need somebody to love me, to give me attention, to give me time. And so they may venture out and connect with someone else. Or maybe there's a pattern of intense, unstable relationships. And so therefore they take a self-sabotaging approach to their existing relationship because the assumption is, well, it's not going to work out anyway. None of my relationships in the past have worked out. And so therefore, I'm going to go out and venture to get what I want to get. Then we have impulsivity, right? Impulsivity is another one. I'm going to go back and forth, not to hold it there, but impulsivity, it's self-damaging acts. It's an inability to control impulsivity. So whether that's shoplifting or drug abuse or spending sprees or binging or eating, a lot of times that may take the form of attachments to other people. Then you have emotional instability, right? Emotional instability, you can see how that could show up in a relationship and cause some type of a split or chasm between a spouse and will cause someone to venture out into another relationship. These are issues that people deal with every single day. There may not be titles to them that they may be aware of, but all of these characteristics tie in to this particular type of disorder, which makes them more, what's the word I'm looking for? Susceptible to an affair going on. What do we have? Emptiness, right? That's a huge one. How many people feel completely empty in their relationship? They feel like their spouse is not giving them the time, the attention, the service, all the things that they need. And so to fill that void, what they do is they find somebody else that can offer them a temporary fix in a way that they don't believe their spouse can.
I wonder if, I can see how the personality disorder, the borderline personality disorder could just bring about a meridian of symptoms that would create an environment where they would be seeking fulfillment. To me, that's what it boils down to. It's somebody who's seeking fulfillment in all the wrong places and spaces, you know? And it's a touchy subject when we start talking about mental health issues because, you know, you want to be able to say, okay, you need to seek fulfillment in the spirit of the Lord, you know, and all of that. And there are a lot of people who are suffering with mental health issues who are doing just that and are not finding the fulfillment that they need, and they still feel lacking in certain ways. So, I don't think that it is a recipe for infidelity, but I definitely can see how somebody who's suffering from this would actually be susceptible to something else, you know, presented to them that can make them feel temporary whole, you know, temporary attention, temporary needs met in some way.
Absolutely. And then, of course, we have narcissism. We've covered this in times past, but I wanted to give you a visual description of certain characteristics that are associated with it. So if we look on the right side, Danielle, look at this. Selfish, right? Self-serving, unhealthy obsession.
That's all. That, to me, this is all perfectly aligned with somebody who would commit infidelity,
right?
Because you're not thinking about anybody but yourself. It's all about you, and the person that you're unfaithful with, it's not even about them. With a narcissist, it's about soothing and fulfilling your own personal needs. Period. Wow.
Let's go back to the list. We have manipulation, domination. That's a huge one. When you dominate your spouse and make them subservient to you. Total disrespect, irresponsible. That's a huge one. Then we have the blame game, lying, inequality, mindless, unkind, careless, and lack of empathy.
Right. Wow. Dr. Ramani, which most people know, she specializes in talking about people who suffer from narcissistic personality disorder. And I mean, essentially, the way that it's spoken of is that this person is somebody who literally has a sinking pit in their soul that is insatiable. And they use, it's almost like a drain or like a black hole, and they pull in anything and everyone to try to fill their own hole. It's like a tornado. So even when they're being, even with their spouse or with their children or with people on the job, whoever, it's all about placating to their emotional needs, because at the root of the issue is a serious sense of self-worth.
That's right.
Lacking self-worth. Right? And so even when you're stepping out to fulfill whatever the need is with infidelity, it's not about the person. It's not because that person was better. It's not because your spouse wasn't enough. It's because they are not enough. And so they're using and pulling on everything else to try to fill that hole that can't be filled by people or usual means.
And this is why we say that the key to your marital restoration is your personal transformation. There's so many character flaws and idiosyncrasies and vices and behaviors and all types of stuff, baggage that we've brought into our relationships that are unresolved. They haven't been given the attention that they deserve. We're not working on it. We're not seeking spiritual transformation, personal development and growth. And because of that, we're bringing all of that stuff into our relationship and making it a toxic situation. Think about it. Before you get on the plane, you have to check your baggage at the gate. Then you go through a radar system and they scan you to make sure that there's nothing on your physical body that brings harm to the other passengers on board. If we took the same approach to relationships, maybe there'd be a lot less people who are married, a lot more people focus on personal growth and development, because we said this yesterday, how most people, they enter into relationships based upon physical attraction and emotional desirability, but you begin to realize that's not enough. I need character. I need integrity. I need somebody who's going to stand up and be who they were called to be and show up the right way in this relationship. So I hope that you got something out of today's show. Tomorrow we're going to go deep. Listen, part 3, we're talking about the lack of morality that people have in their relationship, which causes them to cheat. Now that is going to be a topic that you do not want to miss. Part 3, why I cheated. Stay tuned, share this, subscribe. We'll see you tomorrow, guys. Love you.